All right, welcome back to another episode of Phrasing FM, a podcast where I talk about languages and my experience building an app to learn them. Today, I want to talk about accents. So, most people, when they start learning a language, their goal or their dream is to be able to speak the language without an accent. And personally, I find this to be kind of the wrong goal or a little bit misguided in some senses. And when I started to learn a language, I had the same dream. I had the same goal. I thought it'd be so cool to speak a language without an accent. That was if I didn't have that, then I didn't succeed. That was the whole point. You wanted to be able to sound exactly like a native. And first of all, I think this is kind of an impossible target to have. A lot of people have really, really good accents. You can definitely get rid of your accent to the point where it's imperceptible. But it's always going to be subtly there. Very, very few people ever really get rid of an accent. When I moved to the Netherlands, a bunch of people in the Netherlands speak fantastic English and English without a strong accent. And I moved into a new apartment and I remember just walking past my neighbor and she just said hello on the phone. And I was like, oh, you're from America. You're from the West Coast. And one word, and hello is not a word that a lot of people say with an accent. It's not a very strong word. But just being in a foreign country and not hearing my own accent for a long time, I was able to very quickly pick up on my accent from another person. And the subtleties that are there, the fact that you can pick out where somebody is from a city almost in some languages, you're never going to replicate that 100%. You can get 99% of the way there, but that 1% is always going to be observable to people who are from the country or from the city or from the town or from wherever the accent is from. So you're kind of chasing an impossible target. But even if you wanted to get to the 99% point where people couldn't tell where you're from, as I've learned more and more languages, I've kind of started to feel like, what's the point? I really like foreign accents. I think foreign accents are so cool when other people have them. It's a topic of conversation. I'm always wondering where they're from. I think they can sound really charming. They can sound really interesting. They can sound really cool. They can sound so many things. I love surrounding myself with people who have accents in English. And so if you're learning a foreign language, you have the opportunity to be the person with an accent just for free. You don't have to do anything. You can just have an accent every single time you talk and people will love your accent. And so it's kind of, why are you working so hard and investing so much time and stress to get rid of this thing that's kind of really cool and awesome just to get to 99% of this random goal where then people will think you're from somewhere else? It's become something that's so much less important to me and almost seems counterproductive is really the wrong word. But it seems like a waste of effort and a waste of time. And now I do want to clarify, I think working on your accent is important. I think from the beginning, you should really work on your pronunciation. You should work to be able to be understood by everybody. And as you're learning a language, you shouldn't dogmatically hold on to your old accent. Or, I mean, if you want to, go right ahead. You're the one learning a language. But as you learn the language and as you use it more and more, your accent will just kind of dissipate. It'll get better and better, or your accent will get smaller and smaller in whichever language you're learning, just over time, naturally. So for me, when I'm learning a foreign language, I just try to pronounce everything correctly. All of the new sounds in the language, I try to get really comfortable with them. I focus on words that I find really difficult to say and just the kind of mouth gymnastics that they cause. I work on those, make sure that I can make all the sounds, make all the patterns, do all the mouth gymnastics that I need. And then I kind of stop worrying about it. And then when you start talking to native speakers, they're always asking where your accent is from. They find it very interesting. They're always making comments on it. And it's never really a blocker or getting in the way of conversation. It's never getting in the way of connection. If anything, it's doing the opposite. It's making it a lot easier to connect with other people. And people are just more inclined to talk to you because you have this cool accent. And so there's definitely, you can under-index on your accent to the point where it's really difficult to understand you. People don't like it. People can pick up where you're from. People might have preconceived notions. But it doesn't take that much work to get to the point where your accent is kind of unidentifiable. It's just a little bit ambiguous. It's a little bit exotic. It's a little bit different. And it's a little bit unique. And I think that's a perfectly fine place to get to. I think that's very achievable. It's very easy, and it doesn't take a bunch of effort and work and stress. And there's no real end goal in this point. You just get to the starting point where people can understand you. And then as you learn the language, your accent will improve. And if at some point, maybe you need the language for a professional environment and you really want to get rid of your accent, then fine, you can work on your accent with a speech therapist. That's a valid reason. But if you're just learning the language for fun, I feel like everybody just goes in with this idea. I need to perfect my accent in this. I need to have no accent. I need to sound like a native speaker. And I think a lot of people would be better off if they just didn't have that expectation going in. Not only is that a very long and difficult task to do. Sorry, my dog is making a bunch of noise. He's very excited for his walk. Um, Not only is that not even realistic, I think, for anybody to achieve, but it's a lot of work for a very select few people to get very close to. And it just kind of, it's moving the goalposts so far away where a lot of people will think that they haven't succeeded if they have an accent, or people will get really offended if people pick up on an accent and they feel like a failure in their language learning. And why can't they just get rid of this accent that they have? And it's just, that accent is you. That's how you speak. Enjoy it. Embrace it. It's not something to be ashamed of or run away from, or that you need to hammer out, or that you need to get rid of. It's and a lot of the time when I will recognize somebody else's accent, it's not because they're difficult to understand or they're saying anything wrong. It's just there are these subtle cues and these subtle hints, and it's like, "Ooh, that's new. Where's that from? I want to." And it's not an insult to have an accent, and it's not a bad thing or a failure or anything like this. So I think we should normalize having an accent, being proud of your accent, enjoying having an accent in a foreign language, and stop trying to hammer out these accents and pretend like faking your way to sounding like a native is somehow an optimal outcome in any regard. So that's my little rant about foreign languages. Let's normalize having foreign languages, or that's my rant about foreign accents. Let's normalize having foreign accents and stop trying so hard to get rid of these really cool things that are really unique, and I think we should be proud of and embrace. So thanks for listening. Tune in next time for more podcasts about languages.